Hey everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here with Painted Studio. Welcome back. It is January something or other. It's a Wednesday. Don't ask me what day it is. Don't ask me what hour it is. It's just another day in another month, but we're creating wonderful Valentine's Day stuff. So, today we're going to be working on more of our little hearts where we do the hearts and phrases, and I'm going to go do that one again. We did that the other day. I thought I'd share with you what my upcoming projects are. And then, hey, Kimberly and Terry, nice to see you here. And then I thought I'd just show you where we finished up with yesterday's project. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is yesterday's. Now, again, I cannot get a good angle on this where you get to see the highlights nice and clearly. Hey, Kathy Brown, nice to see you here. But this really is super pretty in person. Let me see if I can turn this other light on and blind myself, and maybe you can get the highlights showing on it there. That's not doing it either. The pearl is just not showing up. There we go, we're catching it right there. That pearly pinky color just really does. Hey Mare, nice to see you. It does a really nice job of highlighting it, and then we drop shadows underneath. And it's meant to be kind of rustic looking. It's not meant to be perfectly blended, perfectly shaded, anything else. Let me turn that light off before I go blind. Oh my God, now I'm seeing spots. But it came out just super cute little one. I love how this came out. And then of course we have the other side that we did with the stripes that is hard to see that they're stripes until you look up at it close and you can see the individual seams, which I think is just the coolest part of that too. So I'm very happy with how that came out. Now I got my new little saw in because I'm going to cut some of my own shapes now since I want to do some very special ones to me. We're going to be doing these little these German gingerbread figures. You might not want them now, but I think they'd make awfully cute instead of painting them brown like this. If you painted them spring colors and skirts, and they'd be very cute to have around for Easter. Then I'm going to do more of the mushrooms. This is from Joel Cobb Inc. Very long time family friend of mine. Used to own a boutique in the town where I grew up, and he would have this local gal cut and make these wonderful mushroom ornaments and the gingerbread ones, and she'd do all kinds of really wonderful painted stuff, and I think she worked pretty much exclusively for him for years. Well, they're both gone now, and I can't, obviously these are something unique to my town, so I've decided to start recreating these shapes, recreating these patterns. So fairly soon they're going to be available. My bandsaw's in the back. I gotta learn how to use it before I'm gonna cut something that I can sell, but this is one of my first shapes that I'm gonna be cutting because I think these mushrooms are just the cutest shapes. Now, if you want to know how far back these go, I was getting these as soon as they started making these. I mean, I'm not a child myself, but I think my oldest one on these is 1971. This is 1973. So these have been around for a while. So I'm going to redo those, and we're going to come up with some new colors. Yes, I am. I'm doing mushrooms, Martin, and I'm hallucinating that you're here watching me on my live. That's my very good friend, Martin Hirsch, who's making smart mouth remarks about me and mushrooms. Fine. I see how it is. Listen, a Florida man, you know what I'm saying here. It all starts with a man from Florida or a Florida man. Just be careful what you're doing over there, Martin. So, ha, ha, ha. All right, we're going back into working on these hearts now that I've tormented my friend for a moment. We're going to do phrases. Now, all of the hearts will say, I love you. And then on the back, there is an adverb saying forgivingly, lovingly, adoringly, colorfully, regretfully, hopefully, happily. So all of you watching today, throw up an adverb. While I start doing the front, I could use a couple of descriptors of how you love somebody. I could enjoy that because the stuff that comes to my, I have kind of a dark sense of humor, so I might as easily go from saying, I love you fabulously to I love you gothically to I love you vampirically. You know, I can come up with all kinds of stuff. So I could use somebody else's imagination working on this. It might keep them a little more user friendly. And of course, I might just make them whatever they say just for the fun of it. So let me know. And we are going to be doing Easter egg shapes like this too. So I will have those cut out and I will show you some of the vintage ones that I will be reproducing. So it's kind of cool. Let me flip the camera down so you can see where I'm working. I'm going to flip my little light down so it doesn't blind me and I can put extra light in here. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right, I use this as my reference just because this brush stroke technique is still not 100% familiar to me. And I always do all of my outside designs before I do the lettering because I need to figure out and create the space to fit the lettering in, as opposed to putting the lettering and hoping that I did it well enough that I got room to do the design around the edges. I've tried it both ways, and usually the first way I do it is the wrong way. All right, so I'm going to go through all my little brushes that are lying here because I got to remember which one I figured out does this best because some of them are too big. And of course, I put all this stuff in a heap over here, didn't sort it out before I went live because why would I do that? That would be too practical. Let's try a couple of these. All right, we're gonna start with this one, but I have a feeling that's too much bristle. Let me take a look again. Yeah, that one's gonna be too much bristle. And some of this I can tell when I get it wet because then I can see how well the bristles narrow down. And that's a big part of figuring out which brush I wanna use. So sometimes I just wet a bunch of brushes until I find the one that I'm happiest with. So I think if I trim the two sprung hairs on here, and yes, I do trim my paintbrushes from time to time because they're not all new and fresh, and I can get some sprung hairs that will screw up everything. So I come back in, I trim down the sprung hairs. I don't pull them out. And this is something you should know. Do not, if you have a brush that has a couple wild hairs on it that you cannot get under control, even no matter what you've done, and I use everything from, they have stuff that helps you reform your bristle shape and all that. If none of that works, don't pull the hair out. Trim it down, because if you start plucking the hairs out, you're going to interfere with the way the bristles are glued into the ferrule, but also you're starting to thin out the gathering that's pinched into the ferrule here, and all of a sudden your whole clump of bristles will fall out because you've made it too small for the ferrule to hold it in place. Just a little bit of friendly advice from somebody who has done it wrong as every way possible. Okay, so in here I have Snow White Set Coat. This is the same mixture that I used the other day. I just have to get a little moist because it's been sitting here for 2 days with plastic wrap on it. So I'm just rolling my brush in it, checking the consistency, and now I'm going to turn my brush, my heart sideways, and I'm going to turn this heart, and I'm literally going to do my best to mimic this. Once it becomes more natural to me, I can vary the pattern, but the first time I do stuff like this, I really work hard to mimic what the original artist did so that I can get a feel for how to lay the patterns down. I'm not liking this. I don't like this brush. And if I really do something on here that I hate, I can pull my favorite Martin trick and take it to the sink and wash it off because, yeah, get a good flow going on it. A lot of my fine brushes get really beat up because I use them a lot. I might have to go and pick up a couple new fine tip brushes. So somebody's going to ask, what size brush is this? This is a Kolinsky. What is this? A Kolinsky number 3, and the serial number on it is 6684. Sorry, I got to read this stuff. It's really tiny. So Sometimes people like to know what brushes I use. This one I got from Dick Blick. Don't, this is not one of the brushes I personally carry. And I have a lot of brushes, just, so everybody I'm a brush collector. I love a good brush. So a lot of my brushes I've had for many years. I'm trying different directions to see if my brush strokes improve if I go in a different direction. And I don't think this brush is what I really wanted. I'm not happy with that. Let me finish doing my little swirls, then I'm going to try another brush. And once I figure it out, I really should mark the brush because I had one that I liked the way it was working in my hands the other day. And then I forgot which one it is. I have been to toll painting conventions, which is very similar to what this kind of brush stroke work is, if you've seen that before. And it's never been my strong suit. Probably because I never practiced enough like everything else. That's why I can't play piano anymore. I stopped practicing. Let's throw that brush in. Let's try this one. See how I like how this one works. If this one doesn't work, I'll find another one. And really, what I mean by finding a brush that works, it's one that feels the most comfortable for the way that I'm doing this. So I'm going to take this. Okay, that seems to be working a little better. Yeah, the bristles on this, the tip on this seems to be working just a little better for me. That doesn't mean it's going to be perfect by any means, but it means I'll be a little happier with the results that I'm getting. So now I've got to turn it. And the more comfortable I get, the faster I will become. The first ones, I'm always slow. And I don't expect to be anything less. But my slow actually is not bad for you all because it helps you see what I'm doing. Okay, let's take a look at this again. Yeah, it's not going to be exactly the same because I didn't paint this one. So I'm going to have, my moments of working it all out. All right, that's not bad. I'm okay with that. All right, let's get this one now. For me, it's a lot of turning. Being left-handed, too, can sometimes be a challenge with this. And I'll do all of the hearts with all the outside lettering, the outside design first, and then I'll come back and do all the lettering. Yeah, stroke work is challenging, Terry. I gotta tell you, it's not easy. And every time I go into something where it's nothing but stroke work like this is, I get a little anxious, and I shouldn't after all these years. I should have, confidence and be able to just swing it all in. But if I haven't done something a while, I tighten up, I stiffen up, my hands don't want to brush the way I need them to. It happens to all of us. And, you know, I am not a toll painter. This is not what my area of expertise has ever been, but I'm a pretty good mimic. So that's why I've always been able to pull off a lot of stuff. Turn this. And I always have to turn everything the same way I'm painting it so that I can visually see how big stuff is supposed to be, where it's positioned. I cannot, my brain does not work in a way that allows me to see something upside down and then interpret it right side up. I just have never been able to do that. And it's all right. Not perfect, not by a long shot, but it's getting better. I'll do 4 or 5 of these and I'll have my brush strokes down and I'll be happy. Okay, so now I've got to do this bottom part. I'm going back in and perfecting my brush strokes a little bit right now. Once I get really into it, I don't go back in. And when I do stuff like this, I promise you, I never, ever like my first view. Other people will, they won't see what I see, but I will always hate the first ones that I see that I've done. Okay, now we're going to let that side dry. And then we'll keep going for the other ones. I'm not going to keep you on with me a long time today. I will show you one other thing that I have. Oh, you won't do it? I kind of like it. It's fussy work. I just need to get into the swing of doing it. So I'm going to bring back one other thing that I'm going to show you that we'll be doing the building of tomorrow, because we're going to be a little bit of a short day today, but hang on just a sec. So if you remember last week, I poured this epoxy tray, which is now good and hard. When I took it out, you saw that it was flexible, that it would bend a little bit. Now it's hard as rock, flat as a board. Very happy with how it came out. I know it's looking a little bent from this reflection, but actually it's perfectly level. And then we cast the handles. So tomorrow, one of our jobs is going to be to install the handles that we made. I can't hold it this way, it wants to slide right off, but we're gonna put our handles on here, and I'm gonna show you how we do that. But today, I think we're just gonna keep it a quick one, because I have appointments this afternoon, and I didn't want to forget you and leave you behind. Don't forget, we do carry these wooden hearts. We will have all of the ones that I paint available for sale on our website. And of course, I'm always here to answer any questions that you have about how I do things. I'm sorry, something's in my eye. About how we do things or what products we use. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and stay warm. It's supposed to snow some more here. What else is new? It's January in Chicago. All right, everybody, have a great afternoon. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.